Hello again, I'm Tripp Rogers, and this is Tripp's Take. All right, I got to talk about the media story, and I again, being a sportscaster and being a broadcaster for many years, I follow intently what goes on at the network level, having never had a chance to do that. And it is with some sadness that I read this story. Andrew Marchand of the New York Post reporting Al Michaels will no longer work for NBC doing an NFL playoff game. Now, that was part of his contract when he was moved off of the Sunday Night Football game at the end of the 2021 season after he did the Super Bowl in place of Mike Tirico. And it ends one of the more legendary NFL play-by-play careers. Michaels started doing play-by-play back in the 1970s for CBS. And in the 1980s, in the mid-80s, he became the play-by-play voice for Monday Night Football and continued to Sunday Night Football, doing it for 35 years. He also is tied with Pat Summerall for doing the most number of Super Bowls at 11. Now, you'll recall NBC hired Mike Tirico in 2016, and he was the Monday Night Football play-by-play announcer for ESPN when he was hired by NBC. And the rumors at NBC had promised Tirico the Sunday Night Football job, but Al Michaels was given had no intentions of giving it up, and he was moved off the Sunday night job rather begrudgingly a couple of years ago. Now, Michaels was contracted to do the Thursday Night Football games for Amazon Prime, and NBC, he signed a contract with NBC, and part of the deal was he would do one playoff game. Now, he did the game last year with Mike Tirico, and the two were kind of criticized for what they said was very uninspiring call of one of the more exciting playoff games. Now, in Michael's defense, he was working with Tirico, he was working with Dungy, somebody who he did not work with regularly. And Tony Dungy, if I've learned anything, is better with someone else to play off of. He's good in three-man booths, but when he's alone, his commentary does not leave a lot to the imagination. I mean, Tony Dungy, great coach, he's a great commentator. He will speak his mind, but not exactly awe-inspiring doing color commentary. Andrew Marchand talked to Michaels about, Amazon. He's had some issues with Amazon, and Michaels has been outspoken, and he's taken some shots over the last year or so. But he brought up the subject with Michaels that he's kind of in limbo right now because he didn't know who he was going to be doing the game with, and he said, well, it's in my contract. And that's a direct quote from Al Michaels. Well, NBC has confirmed the team of Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge, that's their number one college team who does Big Ten games on Saturday nights, will do that second playoff game. They'll also do another NFL game on Christmas weekend. And NBC has said goodbye to Michaels. Now, there have been rumors that NBC Sports and Michaels have had a difficult relationship. Again, Michaels was moved out of the Sunday night booth, not on his own volition. He wanted to go. And having been a broadcaster for a number of years, I do have some observations on this. A lot of times in media, you are not allowed to call your own shot. You are told when you're leaving. It is very rare that you can walk away from a job on your own terms. John Madden did that in 2009 from NBC, and he earned that right, and he never looked back. My buddy Jerry Rogers here in Savannah, who I was working with at Q105.3, announced his retirement and sold his radio station, and he walked away, called his own shot. But it's very rare. I have not been able to call my shot all that often. I have left for other jobs, but a lot more often than not, I have been told I am leaving when I was not ready to leave. So again, what's happening to Michaels does happen. It happens. And, Al has another season left with Amazon Prime, and he says he's going to be back next year. So it'll be interesting to see if there is any fallout from this. Michaels has not commented publicly about this. Of course, he'll be on the Thursday night game this week. The Chargers and Raiders are playing. So see if he does say anything, but he has not issued a comment. NBC, of course, is moving ahead with plans. And again, Noah Eagle, the son of Ian Eagle, is the next big thing because does a very big football package, and No Eagle's gotten some high-profile job. He'll call a Super Bowl this year. By the way, he'll be doing the Nickelodeon alternative broadcast for the Super Bowl. And you mentioned No Eagle. Well, I got to mention Iron Eagle because he is going to be replacing Jim Nantz doing March Madness. You recall Nantz replaced Brent Musburger and had been calling March Madness for well over 30 years when he decided this year would be his last tournament. He's still working for CBS, but you kind of wonder, will Nantz be able to call his own shot? I think at this point he will be able to. But again, more often than not, people are not ready to say goodbye, especially when network jobs are few and far between. I got a quick story to tell you about the infamous Giants rugs. Now, you know I am no doubt a big fan of the New York Football Giants. There you go. It's on the sweatshirt. Yeah. Okay. Well, I had a couple of area rugs that I had downstairs in my basement when I was in New Jersey. And when I came down here, I made sure they moved with me. So we put them in the laundry room and also put one by our dog's cage in the family room. And there's nothing wrong with those rugs being there, but there's only one little issue. The dogs kind of like to go pee on the Giants rug. No, they're not making a comment about Daddy's favorite team, but they kind of like to do that. And the rug, after a while, the rubber backing starts to fall apart, and well, we couldn't really clean it, so Sandy and I made the decision we'd have to get rid of the rug. Well, we didn't get rid of it. See, the other thing is I have diabetic neuropathy. And basically, it affects my feet. And walking on rough surfaces feels like I'm walking on a bed of nails. That's how uncomfortable it is. Either I have to have slippers or I have to have water shoes, which is what I use around the pool deck, because the pool deck is worn out. It's a rough surface to begin with, and it's gotten worse over the years. Or, as I've done, I get some of those area outside rugs and I lay them out. It's like a red carpet to the side of the pool. And the Giants rug added to that red carpet and it took it closer to the side. So I was very comfortable with it. Well, we have a bit of wind here, and a gust of wind caught the rug the wrong way. And sometimes they've blown into our flower beds and blown against the house. No, this time it blew it into our pool. And the rug ended up in the deep end. That's 9 feet. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have any 9-foot extendable poles in my shed, in my workshop. No. So Sandy and I were scratching our heads wondering how are we going to get this rug out of the pool. Well, last Saturday I happened, and this happened last week. So Saturday I go to put Emma outside to let her do her business, and I look in the pool, and the rug is floating on the top of the pool. And I'm like, ah! So I run outside, and I'm watching the rug, and it's floating just about on the surface, flat on the surface. And I said, this is good. And it's moving with the current. So I said, okay, it's going to come near the side. I'll be able to grab it. And then I notice it's starting to fall back into the pool. And I'm like, ooh, this is not good. So I run over and I grab a hoe, which happened to be handy and happened to be outside our workshop. Run back, and I'm able to grab the rug and pull it to the side and pull it out of the pool. Well, I'm happy to say the giant rug has now been very well cleaned. I mean, let's be realistic. 2 days in the swimming pool will do that for you. And I've also put it somewhere where it can't blow away, and I'll keep it there until we're ready to use the pool. I mean, I live in Savannah. The weather is nice. We don't get snow, but swimming pools, you can't use them between end of October, mid-March. The water's just a tad chilly, and we don't get the really, really hot, humid days until then. So that's the story of my Giants area rug. And that is Tripp's take for, I have to laugh at it, December 14th, 2023. Love to hear your comments and questions about this podcast. You can email trippstake@gmail.com. Don't forget, the other podcast I have is with the Hall of Famer Mike Scheck. We talk fantasy football, fantasy sultans. It's playoff time, and we'll give you some tips and imports and exports for what you can do to win your league. You'll find it on Spotify for podcasters and YouTube. Just search for the Fantasy Sultans. If you like the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, give a listen to WTRSradio.com online. I'll catch you again next week. For now, Tripp Rogers. Thanks for watching. Make it a great one.